It's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, it's Ivy Slater. Welcome to today's episode of Her Success Story. So today is a content episode. We get to just chat, you and I. And I don't know about you, but it's been a great Memorial Day weekend. Life's been busy. Things are opening up, going to see people outside in person, meeting people for coffees. The weather is getting nicer. We're meeting in all kinds of cafes where events are going on. I was recently at Women in E-Discovery event I was speaking at. I spoke in LA for Women Legal Association of Los Angeles in their criminal justice division. Down in Philadelphia where I did Women on Law. I've done a bunch of virtual speaking. So today I thought we'd talk about it. It's not about what I've been doing. It's about what you've been doing. So as we are getting busier, we're hopefully connecting continuously with people. It's so important. But the connecting is only step one. And that's what we have to be aware of. Connecting is step one. What happens is step 2, 3, and 4 is really, really where the value is. And there's that expression that goes, money is in the follow-up. Are we following up? So step 1 might be I connected with some of the people, and maybe you're listening today on LinkedIn that I've been meeting. So step 1 might have been a LinkedIn connection. Hi, it was great meeting you at this event. We chatted about this, wanted to make sure our connection here is on LinkedIn as well. Some people have sent a direct email to, right? So these are our choices on step 1 and 2 on how do we begin to connect. Important pieces to the puzzle. But then what happens? So now we just added 5, 10, 15, 20 or more connections online, right? On social media, maybe I connected to people if it was LinkedIn or Instagram, depending upon your platform of where your best place for business building is. The connections are great. The money's in the follow-up. So how do we build these connections into true, honest business relationships? Are you having some one-on-one calls? Are you inviting a few people, possibly if they're in your city, out to lunch? Are you pulling a few people together on Zoom? Are you sending some articles? Are you asking about them, about what are their plans? Maybe sending them a quick email and say, happy Memorial Day weekend. Wow, I hope you have some great plans. It was great to meet you. I know we didn't get a chance much to talk, but I'd love to hear what you thought of the conference or the event. What were your biggest takeaways? Step 2 is actually starting to develop a one-on-one interpersonal communication relationship with somebody. And that's where value starts getting created. From creating value of getting to know somebody, getting to know who they are. They're like, people have asked me, like, what do you mean by that, Ivy? And what I truly mean is actually, are they parents? What are they doing for the summer? What's their favorite trip? Their favorite place to travel? If somebody asked you, what is the greatest trip you've ever taken in your life? What would your answer be? Would you ask that person the same question? Was it of high value to you? If you ask somebody, what is your hobby? Somebody asked me today, it's like, hey, what are your plans for the summer? I said, I'm an avid gardener. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I spend a lot of time gardening in the summer. Is it some exercise? Yes. Is it some labor? Yes. Is it a great thing that is important to me? Yes. So it's one of my hobbies. What are you doing to create these personal communications that then develops into the concept of people doing business with people? I've spoken about this before. We have this illusion that we do business with companies, but in truth, we do business with people. There's a lot of companies that do very, very similar things to most of our businesses. What separates all of us is how we create the relationships that have value and that people want to lean into, and then business is developed. So create your strategy. Okay. What is your first touch point? Is it a LinkedIn, an Instagram, an email? If, right? Or 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, or 3. Got it? And or you are leading your business, you know where your business sits on social media versus emails. Next, what is your follow-up from that? What is your next steps? Are you going to have some one-on-one conversations? How are you going to choose those one-on-one conversations? Okay, make your decisions. Remember, not making a decision is making a decision. It's being indecisive and choosing to be indecisive. These are the 3 people I know I want to have conversations with. I know, and you'll see this coming up in the next few months. Some of the people I met, I really want to get on her success story because I think they're fascinating and interesting people. So I might have sent emails to certain people and say, I'd love to really have a conversation and share a little bit about having you on as a guest on her success story. I think what you're doing is interesting because don't be vague, be specific. I've talked about this many times. And lastly, have the conversations, but make sure that the conversation has a follow-up conversation. I just was on the call today with somebody I met at a conference in the last few months. And at the end of the call, I was like, let's decide what our next steps are. Meaning, like, oh, she's like, I want to check into this, this, and that. We send me some information, right? Absolutely. So let's make that next call to discuss what you saw. Is it of interest? Is it of value? So remember, that pot of gold is at the end of a rainbow. And the rainbow is a beautiful journey to be in. Develop the relationships, bring the value, and build a great business in sharing and forward and coming from the heart, coming from an authentic place. So leave a note in the leave a note below. What was the biggest takeaway from today? And remember to hit subscribe. We come into your inbox, kicking it off with next week with more great interviews for a few weeks, and then another content episode before you know it. I hope these little nuggets of content are just little brief nuggets that help people move forward in your business and your life. See you next time.